Well, it is a gloomy old morning in San Diego to be giving you this preview of this Coast Guard MH-60 Tango Jayhawk that is coming to you as part of this new Miltech triple pack of Seahawk family helicopters, the MH-60 family. And I am about 1 hour and 10 minutes into what looks like it's going to be a 1 hour and 40-minute fully detailed mega review of this triple pack, which is coming to you at a cost of approximately US $37.99 or your local equivalent on the 31st of July 2025. But I'm kind of stuck on a couple of things. There's a couple of things that aren't quite working right, despite a lot of things that are working really, really nicely. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you this much shorter preview to help give you a bit of a sense of what you're getting in this pack, what you've got to look forward to, what's worth knowing before you hit that purchase button, before you support these excellent developers, Miltech Simulations, in partnership with Blackbird Simulations, who are bringing you this triple pack of Seahawk family helicopters with this quadruple pack of mini sceneries, which includes this San Diego Coast Guard base. So let's fly. Alright, first thing, I am previewing this in MSFS 2024 Sim Update 3 Beta. I am using a AMD GPU and I'm getting a bit of a glitch on this rotor. 2024 offers a very smart system to interpolate the developer's representation of the rotor to make a beautiful smooth rotor animation, which is not working on this particular helicopter, which is a real pity. So just to contrast, if you look at my videos with Taug's Hangar Cayuse, that actually is just fine. So there's something wrong with the way this is working at the moment. Miltech is aware of it. I have talked with them. They know about it. They're working on it. They're aware of it. So we'll just have to see how that goes. At the moment, not working for me. I hope that is not the case for you as well. Turns out that if I turn the FSR3 frame generation off, I can improve that situation, but then I lose half my frames. So I do not get a smooth experience if I do that. Right, so the quickest look at the exterior. And what we see here is a fabulously detailed 3D model. So if I get right up on the edge there, we can see a real depth supplied on the three-dimensional model. I can see every little bit of depth around every rivet and a kind of a medium resolution painted texture over the top of it. But overall, the effect is good thanks to that beautifully done 3D rendering of the model. Really nicely done. So there's the quickest look at the exterior of our Tango model. Let's get inside. And it's reasonably Spartan furnishings inside, as you would imagine. Got some rescue equipment there. This is how the aft crew can control the progress of the helicopter when we're in something called crew hover mode. I can show you that later on. This controller itself is not controllable, but the principle of it is, which is lots of fun. Here is the business end of proceedings, the cockpit. Now, this looks very intimidating, the center console. A lot of these buttons are clickable, but the systems underneath them are not necessarily modeled. Fuses, for instance, are rendered graphically, but are not functional. And a lot of these switches, you might be able to move them or turn them on and off, but don't have an effect on any system beneath them. These key set systems here that I'm just circling here now are like your EFB equivalent. These control the configurability of the machine and some sort of loadout functionality, weapons arming functionality, that kind of thing. I'll show you the rest as we get going down there. The overhead panel is rendered in nice detail as well. Lots of lighting functionality up here. The engine core functionality, of course, as well. Some arming functionality for things like cargo hooks and rescue hoists is upstairs up there. Rendering again inside to a pretty good standard. I've just sort of popped outside there as far as the drone camera is concerned and the sound changed. We're rendered in reasonable detail here, and I think overall the effect in the cockpit is looking really nice. So Blackbird and Miltech have done a nice job rendering the interior of this machine. Time to get into that pilot seat, I reckon. So at San Diego Coast Guard, we're kind of hemmed in by the Naval Air Station North Island and San Diego International. I'm going to use a bit of navigational assistance to help us get out of here, and I'm going to do that with the Miltech INS planner. And that looks like this, and I don't mean to be putting that waypoint in there, so let me delete that instantly. So what we do here is it's pretty simple. We just put in a waypoint, and we put in another waypoint, and we put in a third waypoint like that. We can put as many waypoints in as we like, and I'll just take us out there somewhere, that's fine, and bring us back in like that. That's not a problem. So maybe can I move that around? Yeah, all right, okay, it's pretty simple. Right, so fine, there's a basic navigation plan for us. So send to aircraft 153195 is the number that we need to remember. 153195. So we go down to the, well, if I just find the right button, 153195. So we go to nav, load a flight plan, 153195, and we enter that. We have loaded the flight plan. We acknowledge that. Yeah, did that go in? That's gone in over here. Map, and we just get rid of this menu here. Return, and flight plan off there please. And yes, I have had this once before. This pilot's maps is not drawing. Beats me. So anyway, I will just put that back to the screens like this. So let us fly like this. Actually, what if I just change the zoom, which I will do over here. It changes the zoom on that one. Okay, but not that one. Fine. All right. So we have got a basic flight plan in there. I don't get anything like distance to go or bearings, anything textual like that. It's graphical only, just draws on the screen like that. Also, this aircraft does not have any LNAV functionality. No lateral navigation at all. No heading hold, no nav hold. We will be doing all of that flying by hand, but we can ask for the machine to hold our altitude for us. Okay, so we can ask for a barrow hold, which will be sensible in these conditions. So we'll be trying that. So let's get our landing light on. That is on. And what's the situation here? I think we will, let's just try a little bit of a ground taxi so I can demonstrate that for you. So we will be releasing the, it was already released, releasing the parking brake, unlocking the cast ring rear wheel. The rear wheel doesn't steer, although it's animated as if it does, but that's all right. So we're just going to give ourselves a bit of forward cyclic, introduce a bit of collective until we start moving. Then once we are moving, I'm just using the rotor pedals now, the anti-torque pedals, to just get me around here. Oh, it's quite effective, isn't it? That's not a bad way to travel on the ground. I do like a helicopter with wheels. Alright, so that's very effective. Now, differential braking does not work, so I get over to here. This is the right brake, and the machine just stops. So that's good. The brakes work. Here's the left brake. The machine just... I think it did pull to the left there, but that was just because I had also pushed the rotor pedal a little bit. That was a call from the crew chief informing me that I was 5 feet from the lowest point of the ground. I think the tail wheel lifted up there a bit. Let's have the input viewer so you can see what I'm doing. So what shall we do for our actual liftoff? I can't handle the fact that I'm not in the middle of this pad here, so let me fix that up. It's very easy to get around on the ground. Very friendly, heavy machine this is. Alright, so, oh, that's nice. There we go. So we need to head out and about that direction into that rather threatening weather. Good, I like that. So let's do a sort of a twin engine profile. We'll just lift up to 100 feet and we'll check our temperatures and pressures, and we will make that our decision height whether to proceed or not. So let's get this head tracking, that's better. So lifting collective. How much anti-torque pedal do I need on liftoff? Answer, none. That's how effective the stability augmentation system is on your new MH-60. So let's get up to 100 feet. I'm reading off the radar altimeter here. A little bit too fast here. Okay, so there's 100 feet. Let's see if I can hold that in a hover. And what have we got there? 83% torque seems high. What have I got? I've got a full load of fuel with the extra tanks on. And let's come over here. It's very easily handled. Very, very easily handled. So adding collective now, nosing down, and we will just go on our way into that threatening weather. I do like the look of that. I have Mamu Designs Marinas on, and I have Geist's Global AI Ship Traffic on for a little bit of extra marine variety for us to enjoy here. Oh, this weather's going to be nasty. I like that. So this is a Coast Guard helicopter built for such conditions. So I'm going to try and climb out to about 750 feet, I think. So it's not to be buzzing these houses at too low of a level. It's a bit hard without the map in front of me, but I'm trying to do this. I was climbing a bit fast there. That's 850. Let's make do with 850. So I'm going to engage the autopilot, and we're going to go with that button there is the barrow hold. So I'm now going to reduce the collective all the way to nothing because it needs to sit in a dead zone. If your collective control, like mine, outputs any kind of jitter or any kind of noise at all whilst you're in any of the altitude hold modes in the Miltech MH-60, you are asking for trouble, believe me. I have added some extremity dead zone onto my collective controller, and I have parked it all the way off into the extremity so that I don't interfere with the autopilot system. So it was causing me no end of grief. It really was a problem. Oh, this is great. Love this foul weather. That's really good. So we're in controlled airspace, but I'm not really following proper procedures. I'm just using this as a demo opportunity for you. What's happened to our barrow hold? I thought I engaged at about 800 feet. Oh, it's barrow hold. Sorry, that's the radar altimeter. I apologise. You have done the correct thing, helicopter. I am wrong. See, there we go. Now it's at 870. You're right, I was wrong. Excellent. Right, so now, steering the machine. So usually in a helicopter we steer with the cyclic. So I'm just going to go left with the cyclic and watch how the heading changes. Or rather, watch how the heading doesn't change. What I also need to do, is what I'm doing now, is putting pedal in. So this will challenge people who are used to flying manual helicopters. You need to do some pedal movements which are counterintuitive to you. So now I am banking with the cyclic and using right pedal as well. I mean, in some cases in the real world we would need you to use left pedal to keep a coordinated turn there. So that is just the way that the automatic flight controls have been programmed in this machine. Let's get those wipers parked. They're probably going to be coming on and off the whole time. And so that's how we follow the flight plan. And I'm told that's pretty much what it's like in real life as well. So for me, the way it flies with all of the stability on is a little bit unnatural compared to any kind of manual helicopter that I'm used to flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's not to say that it's bad or that it's wrong. It's just a very different experience. If you're coming from an Xbox controller situation, you will probably be just fine because you're going to be using your triggers to help you in your keeping your turns coordinated and organised. That won't be a problem for you at all. If you're coming from a stick without a twist grip, you might find it a little bit more of a challenge. So I don't quite know how that's going to work out for you. I've not had an opportunity to test it with a stick that does not have a twist grip. So that might be a challenge for some people. Well, these are the perfect conditions for testing this machine, and we are getting to that waypoint that I made up for us. If you would like to try something like a search pattern, you can do something like what I'm going to demonstrate to you here. You can ask for it to put in one of these, that's the wrong button, one of these pre-programmed search patterns. Maybe we want a Victor Sierra 10 nautical mile pattern, so I could just, that was the wrong button, I could just come down the list like this, Victor Sierra 10 nautical mile, enter, and it will it'll insert a, will it? I've hit enter, and was I supposed to go acknowledge in fact? Yes, I was. There's our Victor Sierra pattern. Probably, let's maybe just make that a bit smaller, seeing as it's going to take me right back to San Diego by the look of it, so why don't I just make that a little bit smaller, make it a 5 nautical mile line. Make a bit more sense. There we go. That's better. So you can fly along like this, bearing in mind that when you get to the end of this leg, you are going to be hand flying it again. You're not going to. Whoops! I've just acknowledged that once more, so I've just redrawn it. Maybe just turn that off so I don't do that again. So you will find that it still hasn't drawn that map for me. So you will find that you're doing a lot of hand flying, even in an automated helicopter like this. How are we going here for visibility? It's terrible. I love it. Let's see if we can get this searchlight warmed up. I do like this a lot. I like a good, powerful searchlight. Yes! Look at that. And I've got this mapped to one of my hat switches. So we'll have that ready to go there. So I'm going to deactivate the autopilot here. It's trying to hold too high of a speed, so I'm just going to deactivate that. It's going to give me a warning. Acknowledge, and as I just embark on this next leg, I'm going to keep an eye on my altitude as well. We're going to be climbing here. I'm going to try and get down to about 500 feet actually for this next leg, and also slow down, which I have achieved, but now much too far, much too slow, much too much of a deceleration is what I'm trying to say. Struggling with the language a bit. Alright, so we're on track for the next portion of this leg, and I'm going to have some reason soon to show you some extra functionality in the automatic flight control regime, which is going to be fun. So let us get down to 500 feet. Looks like we're about to achieve 100 knots, so that's looking good as well. Just going to engage all of that there. It's a bit slower, is it? About 80 knots, okay, and about 600 feet. That's fine for now. I'm happy with that. Alright, so on the panel, we are going to show you some of these. So we've got all the masters on over here. We've got the autopilot on. We're following barometric altitude. We could have had radar alt on, but I feel this is a bit safer. I'm going to show you approach and hover next. So let's just get the approach mode on. And what it's going to do is slow the helicopter down, and usually it will take it down to 50 knots and get us down to 100 feet radar altitude. And then it will go into hover mode and take me down to my chosen pre-selected height on this knob here, which should be 60. I'll just get that up to 60 feet. That's on 80 now. Can I have that on 60 please? Okay, that's on 60 feet, which it's actually achieved already. 60 knots on here, and it says hover, but it's still just bleeding off its last bit of speed. So we're into our hover now, and it will just hold its station here. And so the next buttons then will be, that's wrong, okay, the next buttons here will be crew hover, where these two become important, longitudinal velocity and lateral velocity, which I will operate from a hat switch on my joystick. So this increases in steps your forwards and backwards speeds, and increases in steps your left and right speeds. Has that already got some in, is it? That's probably not what we want. 0 and 0. Okay, that's better. And after we've done all of that, we'll use depart. So where are we at with this? Let's get that searchlight down to the water, just to make it something for me to look at. Yeah, there we go. That's good. So, right. What I'm going to do is hit crew hover.
Aft, you have over control.
Aft, I have over control.
And I'm going to go aft. So we're going to open this door. And we can just have a look out here. Oh yeah, there's my... Very good. Oh, I forgot to turn on the rescue hoist. So that's another overhead control. So we're just going to arm the rescue hoist. And then we can use the up and down on here. I'll just show you that this works by going down
Hoist
here.
coming down.
Hoist coming down. Just got some draw distance issues. See how it just sort of, if I look straight at it,
Cable down.
yeah, it's just sort of disappear. Yeah, I don't know. If I go at a certain distance, it's all right. Just reset that view. There we go. So I can just see the cable there. I can't see it there. All right. Well, I'll just get down a bit lower. I'll use this one for that. 40 feet, maybe even 20 feet.
20 feet. Increase altitude to 50 feet.
Okay, increase altitude to 50 feet, sorry. So what I can do with here, I could use the left and right. You can just see us, I've just give it one click to the right, and we're moving right. Now one click to the left, that's stopped. One click forwards, we're moving forwards. One click back, and that doesn't seem to work right now. So I just wonder if I've lost the binding. I have spent about an hour, I feel, with trying to get all my bindings right, but that one seems to be not doing what I wanted to do right now. Is it on something other than 0? I don't know. So you can use the crew velocity. We are definitely creeping forwards here. I can see the raindrops. So what if I try and go backwards? -10, -20. You tell me. You tell me. So we're still in crew hover. I don't know. So okay, let's say we've got our lucky rescued person on board on that line, which I can just see. There's no other sort of mission element here embedded in like there is in something like the high performance group H145 action. What do they call it? Action pack. Nothing like that built into this one. Let's get the hook back up. Raise it.
Hoist increase altitude to 50 feet.
I didn't recall asking us to be lower than 50 feet. 60. What? Okay, we're at crew hover. No, we're not. We're not at crew hover anymore. I don't know how that happens. So,
Lower altitude to 50 feet.
I don't know why we went too high. I don't know why we started moving along that fast.
Lower altitude to 50 feet.
Okay, so we will just turn the hoist off so we don't get all those messages. And when we do actually get to a stable hover, now we're going backwards. Is that because we've got something in here? It is, so let's get that back to 0. Now I can show you the next bit, which is to hit the depart button. And we see that the helicopter nose pitches down. We see that we start accelerating, of course, and we gain a safe amount of height. We're up to 240, I think it's aiming for 200 feet. And the helicopter makes a safe exit for us while I pop back here and close the door, which shows a bit more sound. The sound pack, that is when the door is open. The sound pack overall here is excellent. It's been mixed by Echo 19 from recordings made in a real-life MH-60 with the same engines, as well, very similar engines to this one. So good work, Tyler and team, for what you've done there. You've done a great job as always. Echo 19's name is just everywhere these days, isn't it? Right, so what I want to do here is search pattern and return to base. That's what I need to do. So we enter that, or acknowledge that, and then that goes into there. So then I just need to turn around. So that sounds easy. With that strange motion you get with this stabilized helicopter. Takes a bit of getting used to. I suppose there's a certain sort of turn rate that's just right on these pedals, but I just don't think I've quite found it as yet. That must have felt very dramatic if you're actually on board this machine. So there's our return to base, kind of successfully put in. Now, if I want to change my altitude here, I need to maybe just get the last one out, fly it manually, and then re-engage at the preferred height. So we'll get ourselves up to about 750, 800 or 1000, and we will be cruising, ready for our cruise back home to base. Well, here we are about to make landfall again near San Diego. The weather is appalling. I love it. I've just noticed that the screen is showing me that the the landing lights and the search lights are all switched on. They are not, so this is giving me some false indications. And let's not go to the Naval Air Station. Let's try to get around here. Gosh, we get very close to that hill, don't we? So, sorry people, buzzing these houses. Oh, again, that motion is just so strange. It's so strange the way. I just, I guess I could invest some more time into mastering how to do a proper turn. Oh, there's a Ticonderoga class cruiser, very nice. But I just haven't been able to approximate yet what feels to me like a natural turn in this, going right over the centre line of that runway. Sorry. So you will find your own way. I have just disabled the autopilot. And so all the controls are mine now. Now, by the way, I have tried a couple times to fly with all of this off, just for fun. Like, it's a bit jittery, but it doesn't really seem to change the dynamics. But actually, yeah, maybe it almost does turn a bit more naturally with that. With all the stabilization off. Interesting. I noticed that even with all the stabilization off, it still didn't require any pedal on takeoff. And I noticed too, when I disabled the automatic stabilator, which actually comes down, I would have expected that in its down position, see it's up at the moment, or neutral, that it would cause a very significant nose down force, but it did not do that. So I'm not quite sure what that means. Well, I am quite sure what that means. It means that the stabilator is not really having any aerodynamic impact. It's animated, but it's not really having an aerodynamic impact on the flight of the machine. Alright, so how are we going here? Let's get this head tracking back on. I've sunken my seat apparently. Going much too fast, so we'll just go downwind here a little bit. As we make our approach back onto the very same pad that we left from. It's very easy to make approaches in this machine. Well, just watch me say that and then do a terrible approach. That'd be funny. I think the landing light is on because the indicator on the panel just doesn't mean anything, apparently. This one seems to be buggy today. So yes, let's come in sort of diagonally back onto that pad, which is just above my glare shield now. It is very nicely handled in this kind of flight regime right now. It is an absolute delight to fly in these conditions here. Yes, I point out things which I feel are a bit strange or wrong or buggy, but I am going to call the good things when I see them as well. This aircraft sounds brilliant. The visuals, I think, are generally
10 feet.
good to very good. I like these call-outs.
10 feet. 5 feet.
I feel like I'm not quite this on the line yet. There we go. That's a bit better over there.
5 feet.
And how are we there? I'm a little bit short, so let's just go forward. Not a problem, because we've got wheels. Love it. Bit better? Yes, so let us get that there. Let us lock that. Let us get these to flight idle. Flight idle. It will take quite some time for it to spool down. I just notice that the rotor conserves a lot of energy. A lot. So what else can I say? This is an iconic machine that people are going to enjoy no matter what I say. I think the developers, it's such a pity about that rotor animation. In fact, it's such a pity that I might just have to get back into the machine because I don't want to have to think about that like this. It's a bug and it's, I'm assuming, going to get fixed. Let's enjoy this view instead. The activity potential in this pack seems very high. I just don't know that it's realised in the base pack. It feels like it really needs the Mission Hub add-on. Although I've not seen the Mission Hub add-on yet, so I can't comment on how good or effective or fun those missions are going to be. As you saw, I could lower that rescue hoist down into the ocean, but you know, I can't pick anything up or do anything like that yet because it's not modelled. However, how cool was that? You know, I could open the door, I could look out, I could control the progress of the helicopter automatically across the ocean. That's going to be amazing to pick up people from the ocean. That's such a great potential. That's just going to cost more though, so you're going to be paying whatever US approximately 38 for the machine, then another 16 for the Mission Hub as well. And like I said, I don't know what the Mission Hub is like. So that is part of the value equation for you to think about. Now, for everything that I have said about the way I think it handles, or anything about that I've said about systems depth, or things that I find a little bit maybe strange behaved compared to what I'm used to in other machines, are probably not going to be barriers to people who are let's say, I hate to use the term casual simmers. I mean, it just sounds like it's a put down. I absolutely do not mean it like that at all. I think there is massive market appeal for an add-on like this. And what I say about aspects like that are not going to change that. And that's just fine with me. I think Miltech and Blackbird simulations are absolutely onto the right thing here. I look forward to adjustments that are going to fix bugs, and that are going to get this machine closer to, let's say, a middle ground where I think harder core simmers are going to be getting better value or more enjoyment out of the depth that the system promises, as well as giving the sort of the more casual simmer the kind of enjoyment that they will enjoy as well. There is, I think, potential for so much fun to be had with this add-on. Like I said, looks good, sounds good, so much potential. I look forward to seeing where it goes. There is a massive, full, detailed review still to come from me. It's going to be about 90 minutes long. I am so sorry. But I will be reviewing every button, every feature, every detail. So I hope you'll stay with me for that if this hasn't already been too much for you. I hope I'll see you around soon for more helicopter content in MSFS 2024. Take care. See you soon.